Hi, this is Dark Shades Without the Shades, and this is the final part of Do We Really Have a Choice? And in our previous videos, we're talking about, whether the choices we have are just superficial, like we can go and do our shopping or we can choose what clothes we want. But when it comes down to fundamental choices and what's important to us, do we really have a choice? Like I said, we have a say, but not necessarily a choice. Now, I was wondering if we ever had a choice. I'm thinking about, when I was talking about young people not having a choice growing up and then they turn into teenagers. And I think sometimes because the choice was taken away, that's probably why so many young people rebel. And so many young adults and even adults rebel because they were lived such a restricted lifestyle. And I'm sure that's why you see people with excessive tattoos, or they go on drugs, or they do something else excessive. It's almost like I didn't have a choice back then. I'm exercising my choice right now. I know there are some people who don't have a choice because they're either mentally ill, and they need an enduring power of attorney, so their choice is taken away. You also have children, and of course criminals don't have a choice. But the fact of the matter is, really and truly, we live at a time when we should be able to make responsible choices. But because of our upbringing, because of social norms, our ability to choose is a bit warped. Our ability to choose is based on other people's views and opinions and what they think and how we've been taught and laws and all kinds of things. If we were left untainted, what kind of choices would we make? If there were no restrictions, what kind of choices would we make? You have some people who are psychotic, so they might choose to kill somebody as opposed to talk to somebody in an argument. And thank God we have laws in place that might make them think twice. But some of them, they don't really care. They do it anyway. So I think a lot of the times when I'm thinking about choices, I'm thinking that we don't really have one. I'd like to think that we do, but when it really counts, like when we're voting, for example, yes, we're all taught to vote, we're told to encourage to vote, but then you're going to choose a candidate, somebody chooses, if the other side have more votes than what you have, you've lost your vote. You don't have a choice in who's leading the country. Trump is a prime example. All of those votes, and then, the person you voted for didn't get in. So I'd like to kind of put it into perspective, but I find it really, really difficult. And what I'm trying to say is that when you're thinking about going about your daily lives, I'm wondering if you ever think about the choices that you're making, why you're making them, who's influenced you to make that choice. Is it your own choice? Are you making that choice freely, or is it because it's the law, or is it because someone told you, or is it because it's the way you were brought up, or is it because you were indoctrinated, or is it because you read the Bible? Why do you make the choices that you make? It's a very interesting thing. I don't necessarily mean that you need to tell me, but, it's very interesting because a lot of us, we go around day after day thinking that we're taking charge of our lives, not realizing that life is taking charge of us if we're not careful. So we have to think about our actions. We have to think about what we're doing. We have to think about the choices we're making and why we're making them, and not just do things randomly. I mean, even when you think about going into a shop and you're going to sit there and you're going to think, should I have a chocolate or should I have a lettuce? Well, chocolate might not be so good for my health. The lettuce, it's not going to taste so nice, but it's better for my health. But there again, the chocolate tastes better, and you can go through all of those little scenarios and you can explore why you're making your choices. And at the end of it, you can make the same choice. You can still go for the chocolate or the lettuce. But the fact is that you haven't just made a choice willy-nilly without thinking about it. That's the key thing. I was thinking about, poor people who've lost their jobs and they don't have a choice. They can't get another job, or whatever it is, the age when you're with even people like with pensions, they didn't have a choice. They decided to extend the pension to 66 or 67 for people born in a certain year. Did they have a choice? No. So where it counts, we don't seem to have a choice. And I know that some people, I'm just going to say this quickly, but if you've been in a financial situation and you've decided, okay, I'm going to go for an interest-only home because it's the only way I can pay the mortgage. And then by the time it creeps up on you, you decide, okay, I'm going to sell the house. No, that doesn't make sense. So you've gone for a mortgage, you've gone for an interest-only mortgage because you felt as though that was the only way you could afford to pay anything towards a mortgage and not lose your house. At that point, you felt you didn't have a choice. But you probably did have a choice. The only thing is that with that choice comes sacrifices. And I think that is the key message here. We all have a choice to a certain extent, but with it comes consequences. And a lot of times, if we investigate what we're going to do and what choices we're going to make, but investigate the outcome before we make the choice, instead of making a choice first and then thinking about it afterwards, you'll probably be better off. I mean, some people do say it's good to be impulsive. It's good to, go on your gut instincts. But for the most part, you'll find that those kind of choices are not always beneficial in the long term. So all I suggest to you is that, when you are making a choice, just think about it first. Just take your time and just investigate while you're doing it. And hopefully the choices that you can make will be beneficial for you. And that's all for now.